Welcome one and all to yet another cricket.com preview. My name's Avnish Hegde, and as you can see, Nikhil Popar and Gurkirat in this slightly delayed preview because of the toss and the proceedings happening in Dharamshala, the first day and night game in this venue in the World Cup. We've seen two games before. Let's see how this one swimmingly moves forward. Remember, it is pretty much a David versus Goliath game this way, the way you look at it. South Africa, 2 wins on the trot, and Netherlands, they're seeking their first 2 points of the competition. Right, with that brilliant introduction out of the way. Nikhil Popar, how are we this morning? All well?
Yeah, all good. Hopefully, nothing to be upset about by the end of the day. It should all go seemingly well. And as the lights on you reflect, may the light be with all of us.
Honestly, the key word there is upset, Gurkirat, which he's mentioned so funnily. Do you think there is an upset in the cards? Because the T20 World Cup draws vivid imaginations.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's going to happen. I feel that South Africa will probably bag their third win. I just hope the rain stays away because rains in South Africa are not really a love story. South African fans would know that. So yeah, I'm hoping that there is no upset because South Africa has started off well. And if there's a team, I feel a lot of Indian fans also want to do well. It's South Africa. So yeah.
And we're sitting right next to one in Nikhil because he, of course, called the men in green to make their first ever final in ODI World Cups this year. Let's see if that comes to fruition. Remember, in every match preview, we entertain questions. We, of course, will take some comments and insights from you guys. But more importantly, we'll also discuss some stats, key battles, and our X factors, and not to forget predictions as well. Right. South Africa have been going great guns, guys. And Quinton de Kock, I know he's playing his last World Cup, Nikhil, but essentially, he's got 200s on the trot. Is this man already going to run away with the highest runs award in this year's competition?
Yeah, he can and should very much do it. You probably felt that he didn't get in terms of where he should be in the first couple of World Cups that he's played. But again, in this one, maybe there's extra motivation, extra clarity of roles, and again, the lineup as such tells you that he's scoring a lot of runs with freedom. So you see that average is very good. The striker also stands out because he's getting quick runs, and that's what you want from your top order, which is what Marsh did yesterday for Australia. That you need quick runs up top so that everybody else can then have their roles and play at that speed. So very crucial guy. Uh, could very well go on and make more than 3-4 centuries as well because he's already got two. So he just has to get two in the remaining 6 games, which I'm sure he will find a way to do that.
I mean, it's insane when you look at it from QDK's perspective, Gurkirat. The fact that he's approaching a milestone as well, let's just get that out of the way because he's approaching 12 grand in terms of most international runs for South Africa. He'll, of course, join an elite list, as you can see some of the stunning names in South African cricket. But my important question to you is, he's one of those batters like many in the World Cup that has got lots of IPL pedigree. He has the knack of playing in Indian conditions as well. Do you think he's again going to light up the tournament? And how crucial is it for him to keep performing, for South Africa to also keep winning?
Yeah, I mean, with Bavuma not scoring runs so far, you'd hope that he does it today. But with Bavuma not scoring runs, it's important that QDK keeps scoring it, and if QDK goes well, it also allows Bavuma some more time to get his eye in and score big. Uh, I like Nikhil mentioned, maybe it could be there being no pressure because as we saw. There were 17 innings in World Cups for Quinton de Kock in 2015 and 2019 where he did not have a single World Cup 100, and he's had two in two here. So maybe it's about playing with freedom. That's allowed him. I don't know how much of it is we could attribute it to that or his own skill and his own performance. But yes, it's good to see him do play well that way, and I think they've now got the tougher pitches out of the way. I think they're going to play now at Pune, Dharamshala, Mumbai, Eden. So all these pitches are the kind which Quinton should enjoy. I Are they playing at Chennai
They're playing
or no?
against Pakistan in Chennai.
Yeah, so maybe that is one game there, and if the pitch turns out to be the way it was during the New Zealand Bangladesh game, then even that should not be a headache. And on
Absolutely.
that,
I
So
just have to
and
really break the news right now because we can come back to QDK. Sorry to apologize to all you fans out there watching this right now and Gurkirat to include him because as I appeared on my screen, the Woomers won the toss and had no hesitation in bowling first, Nikhil. I mean, I know this game is in Dharamshala, but should we just literally look at it as Durham, UK? Because it's just cloud cover, 2:30 in the afternoon, man.
Yeah,
you could
this
look
is
at it,
yeah.
you could look
Go
at
ahead.
it as Cape Town. Very similar conditions.
Dharamshala.
Possibly. And again, there is rain. There was rain forecast anyway which is for the afternoon. So hopefully that is past us. But there is swing here which you expect now to happen because of the rain and the conditions as such. It will reflect in the changes that they have. That Koji is coming for Shamshi, which is something that we expected to happen. So another task cut out for Netherlands to bat really well. But if they get any score here, again, I'm not looking for anything else here, but it should be a good game. But I still feel South Africa should be able to get a very decent score to chase and hopefully no more rain from here on.
But it's a fascinating subplot, the rain and all of that, because it just makes me think at the end of the day, we'll be actually looking at a South African defeat, Gurkirat,
No,
because
no. This is
sometimes these things happen.
see before the Gurkita takes off, I'll just say this is the year where every of that box will be ticked for South Africa. So yeah, Faji.
You know, I don't I expect a clinical game from South Africa today. And even if they were bowling second, I know we were here last night when we were discussing. Now in the evening, I feel we should expect the ball to swing in Dharamshala, Delhi, and Lucknow. Dharamshala, it could even swing in the afternoon because of it being a colder place as opposed to Delhi and Lucknow. So yeah, no, I expect a good performance from South Africa once again. What would be interesting to see is that how do Netherlands bowl, because in the two games that they played, they were playing on a slightly slower surface where there was some grip on offer. So the likes of Bas De Leede could bowl their cutters, the spinners could come in the game. Now the two games that happened here at Dharamshala, there was some grip. Now I'm not sure if we can say the same for today given the conditions.
Let's see what happens in the Rolf van der Merwe derby, as they're calling it right now. Or I've just dubbed that. More sumptuous stats before we get some key battles and X factors. Now, success at the top of the order, as you can see, and highest averages for openers and ODIs. We'll put that out there. Temba Bavuma dominating the charts in that one. But it really depends how much South Africa will have to chase in this one, because they've been doing all the heavy lifting while batting first, right, gentlemen? I mean, South Africa, if I remember correctly, against Australia and against Sri Lanka as well. But what will be interesting to see, Nikhil, is Kagiso Rabada, because since 2022 in ODIs, beg your pardon, talk to me about this depiction. He enjoys bowling to the righties more than the lefties, as it's evident in this stat.
Yeah, and this something that he'll definitely want to get better at. I think Rabada in the last few years hasn't been at his personal best, if you want to call it that. It's also to do with the kind of setups and conditions where they have played. But yeah, this is something that I'm very keen to see how he counters, because going forward, now again, the role has changed for him. He's coming first change. So there is a role difference there, and you don't have too many teams as much as Somesh wants. You don't have too many teams with middle orders with left-handers in the middle order. So very keen to see who Ali faces. Sri Lanka could be one where he faces a few of them. So that is done. But let's see. इसके बाद I don't remember any other team who has a lot of lefties in the middle order. So very keen to see. New Zealand could be a good game in that sense. So let's see how that pans out. If he is able to correct it, because this is just a small chink in that armor.
Okay, it just makes me think then who are going to be the X factors in this one. And let's, of course, proceed with that next. Right. Like always, I'm going to ask the boys to name me the X factors today. And look, I mean, if you guys have been following our previous on cricket.com, Gurkirat and Nikhil have been quite spot on. I don't know what's home because he keeps thinking the person and then they keep telling on top. Gurkirat, who are you going in with the X factor today? Given that South Africa bowling first, I would prefer that you name a Netherlands batter and a South African bowler.
Yeah, so for South Africa, I had two names in my mind, Bavuma and Jansen. But with South Africa bowling first, and the weakness that Netherlands batters have shown versus left arm pace, because it's something that we discussed ahead of the Netherlands Pakistan game as well. I'm going for Janssen. Uh, for for uh, for Netherlands, I think goes without saying, but Max Odout or one of Colin Ackerman will have to be the key, because it's important that one of them can actually survive that early movement if it's on offer, and then set the base for others coming in. Because if you have the middle order coming in too early, things could end up really quickly for Netherlands.
Okay, what about Sybren Engelbrecht? Knicks, left field shout, South Africa and Netherlands in his DNA.
Yeah, I think I had similar names to what Paji had, and I'm hoping Cyberland gets a good knockout today. But for South Africa, my X factor remains Timber. He hasn't had a score in 2 games, hasn't looked at his best, but today could be a very good day for him to just get a very good score under his belt. And again, conditions may not be easy while batting second, because if it's weather is like this, then it should still do something. So I'm expecting him to then come good in that essence. And for Netherlands, you have Ackerman, who can really do well. Max Odoud, you want him to do well, but again, new ball, you expect Janssen, as Paji said, to take care and create some chances early on. So I'm going for Logan Van Beek. Again, the choice here is he's a bowler, I know, but I expect him to have a decent knock with the bat, and then because he'll bowl with the new ball, expecting him to create some chances. I don't want South Africa to lose wickets, so I'm not going to say wickets. So some chances, good to see, and yeah, one will do if he's gotten somebody after a 50. So yeah, Logan Van Beek and Temba Bavuma.
Also, on the Bavuma bit, if you look at the South African lineup, and if you look at the players who play also test matches, when the ball's actually done a bit in test matches, it's been Bavuma who scored important runs. He's not scored big runs, but he scored important runs. South Africa's worries in test matches has been someone not scoring hundreds, but Bavuma has often got a start, and he's been able to score a 50 or a 60. So even if the conditions are tough, you would expect someone like him to be able to bat out that period.
I agree with you guys. I'm going for TNT as well. Temba and Teja. Teja, because
Oh,
it's not a
nice.
South Indian bias, but like I just want that guy to do well. We've seen Aryan Dutt do really well. I mean, maybe it's the Indian in me, but look, that will see how it pans out with regards to that.
TNT in the X Factor, GNT in the evening. Nice.
Oh, and that's not Gaurav Nandan Tripathi. Okay, let's move on and, of course, talk about the key
You could have
battles.
put that.
Key battles. Right, key battles then, and talk to me, guys. I mean, it's going to be a fascinating one to see how Netherlands weather the storm early on, and I backed them hopefully, but like Gurkirat mentioned, Janssen's a big threat. Do you see any key matchups in the first innings, particularly, or second, Gurkirat?
See, I've often spoken of how when a smaller team is playing, it's very important that they are able to set up the game with the bat first. So this game, I feel, pretty much will get decided in the first inning. So your key battles will have to be between the South African bowlers and the Netherlands batters. So there's Janssen's threat, obviously, and we saw Rabada's numbers versus right-handers. And outside of Vikramjit Singh, there is no left-hander. So you could also expect Rabada to come into the game early. I want to see, I mean, I'm not saying it's a key battle, but I want to see how Coatsy bowls, because he's relatively inexperienced, and sometimes in these conditions, as a pacer, it is very easy to get carried away if there is bounce or if there is early movement. We have seen many times pacers just when there is early movement, they start overpitching. Bowlers also don't overpitch, because then it's very easy for you to get driven. So, just want to see that bit from Coatsy. And Gidi had a good game, so hopefully he should carry on from there. So it's mostly down to it's pretty obvious, but it's mostly down to the South African pace attack the versus the Netherlands batters.
Next, if they do go on and set up the game like Gurkirat said, we've seen upsets. I mean, Afghanistan, England comes to mind. If you get something in terms of 250 odd, you can probably have an upset. But I want to ask you, what are the weapons that Netherlands can use on a surface like this against Quinton de Kock and the likes of that middle order? Because that's going to be super important if they get something decent.
Yeah, and I'll hope that they get something decent, however they get it. Maybe it's from Scott, from Teja, from Cyberend or anybody else. There is Aaron that they can definitely use. Up top with Quinton has got him at once already in the past. There is Paul Van Meekeren, who should get good amount of help from the surface and just bold good lines. And there is always Logan Van Mee, who I expect any which ways to create a few chances. So I think they have the people. I mean, we've named three guys who can be very good in these conditions also. And then you have Roller Van der Merwe. South Africa have had some matchups to take care of left arm spin, be it Markram and otherwise. So if the new ball wickets are there, and then sometimes your moisture can also help the ball spin a bit, just a bit more, and that in itself might be enough to create a few chances. But all of that is not going to happen because South Africa is going to win. So sorry, Netherlands.
Gurkhirat, I just want to ask you about the dimensions of this ground, because I was just looking at Matty Hayden and he was pointing out the square boundaries in particular, where they're slightly skewed, 61 meters, I think, to the first side and the 67. It makes me think, do you just go gung-ho, or do you kind of just set up shop early on? Because ultimately you're going to get a good one and it'll result in a wicket. So if you're a Netherlands batter right now, should you just go and explode?
No, I think it's difficult to say, in the sense you really don't know what kind of conditions are there, and sometimes even when the conditions are helpful, the bowlers can be off their lines, as we have seen often enough in this World Cup. So if you get boundary balls while batting normally, or with bowlers trying to bowl that magic delivery extra hard, then take advantage of it. Sometimes bowlers try to bowl a ball on the leg stump that then moves away and tries to take the off stump. So if those opportunities are coming your way where bowlers are not bowling the right lengths, then you don't really need to take that extra risk. So and the boundary dimensions are such, 61, 67. I feel as long as it is below 70, it should really not make a difference that you look to sort of really prefer one or the other. For South Africa batters, I don't think those boundary dimensions should mean a lot. If there is turn, we've spoken about Scott Edwards before, how he's a very good sweeper today. In that tactical preview, I think, which was written by Shub, he also mentioned around how many runs he scored through those reverse sweeps and everything. So there is Keshav Maharaj as well. Maybe if the lengths are right, or if the ball's really not gripping, uh, Scott Edwards could be the guy who could really control the scoreboard in the middle overs with his game. Let's see. And he's also not had a good enough score so far yet. He looked good in that game versus New Zealand. Went after Santner, but I just feel that the scoreboard pressure got to him. Today that might not be the case. So hopefully, if he gets a start, we could see something good from him.
Yeah, I mean, he got a really tough ball from Haris Rauf, I remember, as well, to get trapped in
the first
front of the wicket. So, look, let's see how that trickles on. Just before we finish the matchups, more available on the cricket.com website and the app, so go check that out, guys. Preetam Rahila saying, Ram Ram Nikhil bhai kaise ho? And I'm guessing a fan also asking you, a fan, beg your pardon, should I pick all South African fast bowlers in this one? Just give us some fantasy insights.
Yes, this is not a game to play small leagues, because eventually everything will depend on our captain and vice captain, because everybody is going to come with all South African bowlers and South African top three. So where this is game now is, who do you think will do well from Netherlands? Whether it is Ackerman, whether it is Bazley, whether it is Logan Van Beek or Aaron Dutt. And remember, they all can bat decently. So today is the game where you have to take a very good gut feel call on, because Bazley will be there in every team. So eventually, it's just about that one Netherlands batter, all-rounder bowler who you feel will come good. So go ahead with your gut feel on that. Yesterday, I had a gut feel with Madhushanka. It came true. Did not win Sri Lanka, but I got those gut feel points back to me. So some days it will work, some days it will not. But try and pick we've mentioned enough names, be it Ackerman, be it Cybrand. And again, these all are risky picks. They may get out, they may get a very good ball first up from Rabada. You never know. So, yep, pick all the South Africa bowlers. And South Africa so far haven't used the sixth bowling option. Today doesn't seem like the day they should go to it. So, yep, good luck with your visualization.
That's a good call, because if I was making my fantasy team, I would probably have that same 7-4 split. And then I'd probably go in with someone like Logan Van Beek, maybe, and then my boy Teja, and then take a couple of wild picks. I mean, fantasy, you
Yeah.
just have to absolutely be lucky. Right, I just want to ask Gurkirat then, what is the message you'd give to Netherlands if you were their coach? How can you possibly create an upset? I know you guys are adamant that South Africa will get the business done, but is there any chink in the armor you've seen so far that South Africa can be exploited?
The obvious chink in the armor that we've been discussing with regards to them from the beginning is uh, the the lack of batting depth, because Jansen's at 7. So if you get a good score around 250, 260, and then you can couple it up with early wickets, then you can put pressure on South Africa. I feel first thing is obviously getting that good score, but if Netherlands gets into that position, what lengths do they bowl to South African batters will be the key, because Van Meekeren also has a good bouncer, but I am not sure if this is the pitch to go to that good bouncer, because he bowled that to Imam, given how short the boundary dimensions are. So I just hope that when Netherlands come out to bowl, they really don't go short at the South African batters, because also the ball flies here. It's an altitude. We've read so much about Dharamshala in that regard. So maybe they bowl those lengths accordingly. But it's going to be very important to put up a score first. Just put up a score. Try and maximize your batting whichever way you can, and then come up with the bowling plans, learn from the South African bowlers, how they bowled, who I feel will have a better experience because of them having played at Newlands a lot, Cape Town, because it's a similar venue in terms of being at an altitude, slightly cold. So yeah, try and learn what worked for the opposition and what did not.
Okay, that's something to consider. And Pranamanan, as usual, getting chatty, saying this is the Vandermeer derby. He's going to take a blind, isn't it? And again, the rain is, of course, seeping through. I was just going to kind of alert you guys about that. So they might have like a start-stop sort of game over here, but hopefully we can get some sort of game. I'm going to use this opportunity just to present something with regards to the cricket.com channel. And Gurkira just touched upon it with regards to Shubh's article. And Shubh, I know, is a big South African fan himself, and I love the title of this particular feature. Read out South Africa will be cautious of the Dutch banana peel. Lots more written content, of course, to be loved and checked out on cricket.com. I'm just going to skim through it so it shows you lots of things to go by, stats, data, of course, lots more about tactical nows and everything else as well. And not to forget, I should also, just because I'm on cricket.com, share my screen with regards to the fantasy page as well. Nikhil just shared his particular light on what you guys should do. But if you guys want all your fantasy features and picks, this is the place to do it. It tells you cool things like what these guys have been doing in the last 5 games and how many fantasy points in particular they've been accumulating. Right, let's of course end this particular preview with 2 things. One, because it's the 17th of October, and a certain man who took a 10-wicket haul against Pakistan turns 53 today, Anil Kumble. Just want to ask the boys, their best Kumble moment, have I just mentioned it, or is there anything else which stands out for you all? 110 for me at the Oval. I'm picking that already.
Yeah, it is a that's actually a very huge moment, because one of Harsha's lines which I remember from that moment is that he said it's the one of the most romantic moments in Indian cricket, because Anil Kumble used to take a lot of pride in his batting, and on that tour he became the only Indian batter to get 100. So yeah, it is a very memorable one. But now Nikhil can go, and then I'll see if I'm left with something.
Yeah, I think it's always you can always go with the broken jaw one, because you feel that's it is a lot. It takes a lot out of you to be even able to think that okay, I can do something like that, and then whatever happens later is still secondary. Just to be in a position that okay, no matter this has happened, I'll still go on, and then to be able to do what he did. And against it's against a great. It's not even that he's done something okay in terms of competition. So that definitely takes you through. There is a very good personal story, but that I'll share with you on the internal group. But yeah, on the field, difficult to look past the century, the 10 for. And again, there will be many more moments, but currently, yeah, those 3 come right on top.
Gurkirat, thought of one?
Two are there. One is that 5 for 5 in the first game of the 2009 IPL, And the other, it's not related to his bowling, but I just feel that the way he conducted himself as the captain in that 2008 tour
2008.
was so,
Yeah.
just the way he came out and spoke post that test match in Sydney. I felt he handled the whole incident with a lot of grace and dignity. And while doing that, he was not short of strong words, because I remember him clearly saying that there was only one team that played
Okay,
within
yes.
the rules and the spirit of the game, and he just said that, and that was enough. And from there on, then to have the team win at Perth, so yeah,
Yeah.
may not have been his best bowling performance or anything, but it takes something to be in that situation and do what he did. So yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I love the 5 for 5 because I'm an RCB fan, but I also love it even more because I'm a Bangalore boy. And every time I whiz past MGO, there's an Anil Kumble circle. We've not even mentioned so many plethora of moments, 6
Yeah.
for 12 Hero Cup and all of that. So let us know in the comments what your favorite Kumble memory is as a legend turns 1 year older. Right. Let's, of course, get that clip, guys, because that's a great one. So tag all of us, tag
Just,
Kumble
just
as well.
I just want to know from you something. Are you a bigger Kumble fan or are you a bigger Kohli fan?
You're putting me in the spot. That's a very good one. If you ask me, Dravid, Kohli, Dravid, 100%. But because I'm just a batter guy, I would go Kohli. Just for sure. But yeah, I definitely would love my Bangalore cricket. Okay, anyway, enough of my fluff. What is the predictions we're going for? I know it might not be a full 50-over contest, and I say rain will interrupt, but what are we thinking? If they get anywhere around 200 and it's a 43-over game, is there even a 10% chance Nikhil Popar?
Yeah, I will not rule it out because that will be very, very biased. But you expect, see, the best chance Netherlands have is, you have to take wickets. And I think that just makes the plan and the approach very much uh, possible that, okay, this is what you have to look at. However easy or tough it may sound, but get the top six, get the game. So don't get it, but get the game.
Gurkirat?
Yeah, it goes without saying that the shorter the game, the more better are Netherlands' chances of causing an upset, because it will also clear up a lot of their approach with the bat. If you only have to bat 30 overs, then you're clear that okay, 30 overs, small ground, we have to look at 180 to 200. And from then there on, if you get that, then you know that the South African batters will take risk. And with the kind of short batting line, it's a great top six, but at the end of the day, it's just top six. It's not seven or top, or it's not 7 or 8. So that is where a few chances would come in. So shorter the game is better for Netherlands. But if say it's a 45 over game and Netherlands get 220, they should be happy with it.
Okay, let's see if orange prevails over green. We'll, of course, tell you all the answers and pick the bones about it after this game, whenever that happens. Hopefully, we get a game in the first place, but it looks ominous in terms of the weather and the dark clouds. But thank you, Gurkirat and Nick, for your time in this shortened preview. More to come on cricket.com, of course. Follow us on all our social media handles. Until the next time, it's a goodbye from us. Cheers.
Cheers.